I don't want that maid's daughter at the dinner table, my mother snapped, while I was serving food, in my own mansion. Just 3 feet away, my father laughed. Let her do what she's good at, cleaning floors, not sitting with owners. They didn't know the house they were humiliating me in was legally mine. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more shocking real-life drama. Your support helps these stories reach more people who need to hear them. It was supposed to be a small family dinner, nothing fancy. But when my parents showed up, everything turned into a nightmare. They walked in like royalty, eyes full of judgment, already whispering insults behind my back like I couldn't hear. I had invited them only because my lawyer insisted. They still think they own the property, he'd said. If you want full control without legal trouble, you need a formal meeting. So I smiled, gritted my teeth, and welcomed them into the house I secretly bought 5 years ago, under a trust no one knew about. A house that was once theirs. Until they lost it, and I quietly bought it from the bank. They still didn't know. As I refilled their glasses and served their food, my mom turned to my aunt and said, I wish Camilla had done something useful with her life. Instead, she's out here playing assistant to strangers. My aunt leaned in, lowering her voice like it made her cruelty any better. Maybe we shouldn't have adopted her from that woman. She turned out just like her. A servant. That woman they were referring to? The maid who raised me. The woman they always claimed was just help. But who was more of a mother to me than my real one? They didn't know I had already found out the truth. That she wasn't just the help. She was my biological mother. And the reason they kept it hidden? Because they didn't want the world to know their little adopted charity case had royal blood in her veins. Something far more powerful than they could ever understand. Clenched my fists as my mother tossed her napkin like trash and barked, Camilla, clean this mess up. You're not here to sit, you're here to serve. Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from the lawyer. It's time. Are you ready to reveal everything? I looked up slowly. My father caught my gaze and smirked. What? He said mockingly. Did the maid's daughter forget her place again? I took a deep breath. Because I was about to make them wish they'd never opened their mouths, I stood up slowly, not saying a word. My father smirked like he'd just won some invisible war. My mother sipped her wine, eyes full of silent disgust. Everyone around the table acted like I was invisible, just background noise. But that silence? It was about to explode. I walked to the living room cabinet and pulled out a thick black folder. Inside was every document that proved ownership, the house deed, the trust papers, the legal transfer documents, all signed, sealed, and filed under my name. I dropped the folder on the dining table. What is this? My uncle scoffed. Proof, I said, locking eyes with my father, that the maid's daughter owns every square inch of this place, including the chair you're sitting on. The room froze. My father leaned forward, eyes narrowing. What kind of joke is this? No joke, I replied. This property stopped belonging to you 5 years ago when the bank repossessed it. I bought it quietly, through a trust, using money I earned from the company you told me would never succeed. My aunt's fork clinked against her plate. You bought this house? My mother said, her voice barely a whisper. I own this house, I repeated, and everything in it, including the car you came in, the chairs you're sitting on, and the company you laughed at when I dropped out of college to build it. My cousin Jake, who always made fun of my tiny side hustle, suddenly spoke up. Wait, your startup? I thought you shut that down after your funding collapsed. I smiled. I did. Then I rebuilt it in silence. You remember that app everyone's using to book luxury rentals and concierge services? Jake's eyes widened. Camilla Lux? That's me. You could hear a pin drop. My father stood up, pushing his chair back. No, you're lying. Without breaking eye contact, I pulled out the final document from the folder, a notarized proof of the last monthly property payment made directly from Camilla Lux Holdings. He snatched the paper, scanned it, and his jaw dropped. My mom clutched, her wine glass like it might save her from drowning. "You mean we've been mocking our own daughter while living off the house she owns?" I nodded. "Funny how that works, huh?" Jake let out a low whistle. "You've been rich this whole time?" "Rich enough to stay quiet," I said, my tone calm but sharp. "While you all mocked me, disrespected me, told everyone I'd never be anything." My father's face turned red. "We raised you. We fed you. You owe us." "I owe you nothing," I snapped. "You didn't raise me. The woman you called the Maid did. She was the only one who ever treated me like family." And just as I said it, the front door opened, and in walked the last person any of them expected to see, her gray hair tied in a neat bun, wearing a simple dress and holding a small gift bag. My biological mother. Every eye turned toward her. "Why, is she here?" my mother stammered. "She was invited," I said. My birth mother smiled gently. "It's good to see you all again. But don't worry. I'm not here to clean. I'm just here to see my daughter take back what was always hers." My father stood frozen. "Wait, you knew?" But before she could answer, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a notification. A breaking news alert. Jake leaned over and read it out loud, his voice shaking. Camilla Lux just closed a $70 million Series B funding round. Founder, Camilla. Rogers? He looked up at me. "Your last name is Rogers?" I smiled. It was hers. I took it back. And just then, my lawyer walked in with a briefcase and a cold stare. "I think it's time we talk about eviction notices." The room went ice cold. My father's face twisted with shock, anger, and panic. "Eviction? From our house?" I didn't say a word. The lawyer placed a thick envelope on the table and looked straight at my parents. "This property has been legally transferred to Miss Camilla Rogers," he announced. "All previous occupants have 30 days to vacate. Any resistance will result in immediate legal action." My mother clutched her chest as if I had stabbed her with words. "You can't do this to your own family." "I already did," I said quietly. "For years they had treated me like dirt. The maid's daughter, the charity case nobody cared about. But now, the tables had turned, and I held all the power." My father's hands shook. "Why didn't you tell us before? Why the secret?" "Because," I said, "I was busy building a life you never believed I could. I built a business from the ground up, while you laughed at my pointless job and told everyone I'd fail." Jake muttered. "So, all those times you disappeared, you were working on this?" "Yes," I said. "In silence, while you wasted time gossiping." My mom suddenly broke down, tears streaming. "We were wrong. We should have believed in you. But the damage was done. The years of insults, the lies, the betrayal. It wasn't something words could fix." My birth mother stepped forward, placing a hand on my shoulder. "She's not just the owner of the house. She's the rightful owner of her own story now." Looked around at the faces full of regret and disbelief. The people who once ruled my world now had to answer to me. And just when I thought the night couldn't get more intense, my phone buzzed again. A new message from an unknown number. "You're not the only one with secrets." My heart skipped. I stared at the screen, then back at my family. "What do you mean?" my father demanded. I didn't have an answer yet. But one thing was clear. The battle had only just begun. The room tightened with tension as I stared at that mysterious message again. "You're not the only one with secrets." Who could it be? Was someone from my past? Or worse, someone from inside this family? My father's voice cracked. What secrets? Who sent that? I shook my head slowly. I don't know yet. But whatever it is, it changes everything. Suddenly, my cousin, Jake, pulled out his phone. Wait, look at this. He showed me a video that had just started trending online. It was old footage from years ago, a hidden camera at the company where I used to work. In the clip, my father was caught on camera angrily yelling at an employee, demanding unethical favors, and threatening to fire anyone who questioned him. Not just that, but he was secretly taking credit for ideas that weren't his, including one that directly involved my startup. The silence around the table was deafening. My mother's face turned pale. That's a lie. We don't do things like that. The video kept playing, showing more evidence, secret meetings, backroom deals, and a clear plan to sabotage my project so I would fail and leave town. My uncle broke in, furious. This is slander. Where did you even get this? I looked straight at my father. From people who had enough. People you betrayed to protect your fake empire. The truth was exploding all over the place. The family who called me worthless was hiding lies deeper than anyone imagined, and as if the night wasn't already spinning out of control, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was an email. The subject line read, "Camilla Rogers, your next move will change everything." I swallowed hard. This wasn't just about ownership or revenge anymore. It was about uncovering every secret and exposing everyone who thought they could break. Me. I glanced at my family, now shattered and powerless. Ready for round 2? I whispered. And in that moment, I realized no one would ever underestimate me again. The air in the room felt heavier than ever, thick with broken pride and shattered illusions. My parents, once so sure of their place in this house and in my life, now looked like strangers, exposed and powerless. But I wasn't finished, not by a long shot. I closed my phone and faced them all, my voice steady but charged with years of buried anger. You thought calling me the maid's daughter was enough to keep me down. You laughed when I left college. You stole from me, betrayed me, and humiliated me in front of everyone. But tonight, the truth isn't just in papers or money, it's in your lies, and I'm done letting you hide behind them. My mother's tears had dried, replaced by a cold fury. You think you've won? This family has roots you'll never understand. I shook my head. Roots? No. What you have is a rotten foundation built on secrets and betrayal. Then, from my purse, I pulled out another envelope. This one thicker. The lawyer had handed it to me earlier, telling me it contained everything needed to finish what we started tonight. Inside were documents, evidence of their past crimes, tax fraud, property scams, even proof they'd used my biological mother as a scapegoat to hide their own illegal dealings. I spread the papers on the table, and the shock on their faces was priceless. You thought you could silence me with insults, I said. But I built a company worth millions. I own this house. And now, I have the power to bring down every last one of you. My uncle suddenly stood up, voice trembling. You don't know what you're doing. You're tearing this family apart. No, I replied calmly. I'm freeing myself, and if that means tearing down your lies, so be it. My birth mother stepped forward and embraced me. You are stronger than all of us imagined, Camilla. I looked around once more at the people who had tried to break me, and failed. Then I reached into my pocket and pressed send on an email containing all the evidence, addressed to the authorities and news outlets. The truth was out. My family's empire was crumbling. And me? I was finally free. As my parents sat in stunned silence, I smiled for the first time in years. Because the maid's daughter had not only taken back everything, but was also rewriting the story on her own terms. This was just the beginning of my empire, and no one would ever call me a servant again.